How's it going, my people? How's it going, beautiful fragrance world, beautiful fragrance community, YouTube, and everybody else out there in the world? I know I'm on here about 30 minutes late. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry, really sorry. I actually was cooking dinner, and I've been starving, so I decided to actually, I wanted to, finish eating and getting everything together, and boy, have I been starving today. So I want to see if anybody wants to pop in this evening. See if anybody's ready to pop in and talk about some fragrance. If anybody's ready, I'm happy that you're here. So this week, I kind of want to talk about a couple things. Of course, what's your scent of the day? What's going on? How you doing? But I wanted to see what y'all thought about my video today. I released kind of a heart-to-heart kind of discussion video. I introduced a topic. Hey there, Josan. Happy to see you. How's your week gone, and what's your scent of the day? I wanted to talk about how y'all felt about not really the compliment side of things, but kind of like, at what point, I mean, everybody has a different fragrance journey, of course, but at what point should perhaps you start, getting more interested in exploring, maybe niche or maybe things that are more expensive. And of course, I'm not saying that you have to. I'm not saying that you should. But I think that a lot of us do get curious, including myself. At what point do you think that maybe people should be looking, towards, instead of buying, what's hyped or what's trendy, or blind buying, off the trust of, fellow, other fragrance reviewers or, people they see or they hear about, maybe in the Facebook groups or maybe even off Fragrantica. At what point do you think people should be, diving into the flankers and, again, maybe the more expensive niche? I'm curious to see what y'all feel about this. Rich Mitch says, scent of the day is Incense Mythique. That's by Guerlain, isn't it? If I remember right. Is that a ambergris fragrance? I'm trying to remember, but I do remember the bottle. Those bottles do look interesting. I think I have a decant of that, and I need to try out that fragrance again and wrap my head or my nose around that fragrance to understand it. So it's some interesting stuff, Rich Mitch, you got there today. Josan says Mansara Oud Blue Notes. I don't think I've tried that one, honestly. I've tried the lemon line, or what is it called, mint lemon line, but I don't think I've tried the blue notes. Do you think it's worth the money? Do you think it's interesting enough? And I'm sure it lasts pretty well from Mansara, even though it's a blue fragrance. So I've seen some people kind of give it lukewarm reception on Fragrantica. What do you think about it? Brandy says that's a great one. Absolutely. Rich Mitch, and with the Incense Mythique coming in here with a good fragrance for sure. I'll be putting out on my Instagram a big post, kind of tagging a bunch of people on Instagram, and I want to see if I can't do more of that. But today, with me and Juicy Fuego went live this morning, and if y'all don't know who Juicy Fuego is, he is a fragrance reviewer here on YouTube, but he hasn't put out any videos out in a long while. He's more on the Instagram scene, and he's still buying and enjoying, but he's doing his own thing, kind of like a little bit more casually. And we talked about 5 very popular designer fragrances that we really like, and it was a really fun video. It was a little bit more laid back, and he had a lot on his mind. I don't think he chats with too many fragrance people face to face, so he had a lot of things he wanted to talk about, and we did chat for a long while. So if you want to check out that live video, sorry I touched the camera, but I have it on my Instagram. So hater perfect for the rain. Is it rainy where you are? Absolutely. It's been rainy here. It's kind of the rainy season where a lot of us live. I like the rain. I enjoy the rain, and there are certain fragrances I feel, again, that work really well in the rain. I think we talked about that last time, didn't we? Notes like gin and juniper, elemi, vetiver, those kinds of notes. Sometimes geranium and clary sage, things like that work really well. I like mint. It can uplift your mood, but of course you could go maybe for some of the darker notes. So, Rich Mitch with the thumbs up, absolutely. So, how was your week, everybody? How did things go? This week's been kind of weird for me. Been kind of tired, honestly, but trying to get things going, with my dreams. one of the funniest things that happened was, I don't know if y'all know about the House of Sphinx. Their beard, well, they have beard oils and they have shaving soaps and aftershaves, and I'm not sure exactly, but I think they might be a branch off or somehow collaborating with Alexandria Fragrances or maybe Dua. I'm not really sure, but I do think that they got a good thing going with bringing more of the Arabian tobacco, richer, deeper, sweeter kind of notes into the aftershave kind of world. There's not a lot of modern aftershave kind of brands, and there's not really a lot of that approach to the aftershave industry or community. But today, they sent me a mug, which I thought that was coming, which is kind of funny. But they sent me like an award for being a supporter, and I thought that was kind of funny. I got this big box in the mail, and I was maybe hoping for a fragrance or an aftershave or something, and it was kind of funny. I got this really fancy award. I'll put a picture of it probably tomorrow on my Instagram, but it's funny. Anyways, Randy Hader says, Rich Mitch, thumbs up. Absolutely. We're all supporting each other and caring about each other. So, again, everybody, do y'all have any thoughts about that? Would you recommend, again, getting back to, I guess, the topic I wanted to see if we wanted to talk about it. But, at what point do you think people should start, going, exploring, on their own, maybe buying samples or decants or maybe getting into niche? Would you recommend it after 20 fragrances or after 30, 40, 50? Would you recommend it after 100? Do you think niche is terrible? Even though, they use higher quality ingredients, do you think they're all a ripoff? Some brands are charging more than they should. There's no doubt about it. But some brands are giving you good quality for the money. But some people, they don't care about that difference in quality. They can't smell it, or they think it's such a small difference that it doesn't matter. So I'd be curious to see how y'all feel about that. Anyways, so let me know if that's something y'all want to talk about. If y'all are curious about what I made for it's still hot out here. I'm sorry, I'm already sweating. But the quick meal I made, if y'all are curious, was I chopped up some chicken strips and all that. But this time I seasoned, instead of using water or kind of doing a dip method, which is probably the smartest way to go. I mixed up more of like a wet batter, and but all the liquid I used was Louisiana like hot sauce, but it's not very spicy, especially to me. So it's really light. People do this kind of stuff all the time, like that golden layers under a Popeye's chicken is actually kind of like that red, it's hot sauce essentially, but that the weak red kind like Crystal or Louisiana brand, and it turned out pretty nice. It kind of tastes like chicken strips. It kind of tastes like chicken wings. It was pretty nice. I'd never done that before, so I haven't been blown away by so many niche or indie perfumes so far. Absolutely, they could be really weird. I always say that you're probably going to dislike more niche than you like. So you're not, niche is it can get really annoying, especially if you're blind. Even blind buying samples, it can get really, really annoying. If you're in a bigger city, if you're near a boutique, I would encourage you to go in there and smell everything you can. I mean, smell it all for free, and maybe find something you do like. I am with you. I don't like very many niche. I tend to, I don't know. I guess I could throw a ratio out there. I probably like one out of every, 10 or maybe 15 niche fragrances I kind of like, and it takes me a while. It takes me like 1 out of 20 or 1 out of 30, something like that, to actually find one that I love. And that's actually after me actually doing research. This isn't me just blindfolded, smelling everything. This is me actually trying to find things with notes or inspiration and things that I think that I'll actually like. It's kind of interesting that way. So Xerjoff is overrated. I'm not sure in the YouTube fragrance community if I hear people hyping up Xerjoff too much. Xerjoff, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that at least I don't see where Xerjoff is taught that, I know that there's some fragrances like I think it's Oud and Overdose, and they have Alexandria too, which is extremely popular. I think it's one of their biggest sellers, and maybe they're in some locations I've heard it's their biggest top seller. There, that Alexander Two fragrance, but and at least in the YouTube fragrance community, and as far as I can tell on Fragrantica and on Facebook, I don't see people hyping up Zerja, but I can see where maybe you don't love them. A lot of people seem to really like Neo. That one was hyped for a while. I'm not crazy about Neo. I don't remember trying Naxos. Maybe I have, but I need to revisit that one. The one that's supposedly similar to Pure Havana. I need to give that one a go, and get a review out on that one. I've tried some of the Shooting Stars collection with the Ouds. I wasn't in love with them. I did like Renaissance Man, but I don't know if I'll buy it. I do have a number of mint fragrances I already like. I have Cartier's Roadster, and I have a lot of other fragrances, and even though I like the fragrance, and when I first tried it, it was really unique. I still do think it's fairly unique, but I've smelled at this point some things that are, I don't know, distantly similar, and for that price, I really want to be wowed. And even though I really liked it earlier in my fragrance journey, Renaissance Man, I don't think I'd save up the money and end up buying that one. At least at this point. Maybe I will for more of a daily wear kind of fragrance if I ever get that kind of money to wear that fragrance casually. But yeah, let's see here. Henley is good stuff. Sample packs is worth the purchase. I'll have to check that one out. I remember seeing that brand, and I think they have a boozy note. And again, guys, I'm sorry about the cicadas. That's what I have to deal with. That noise in the background are cicadas, or cicadas, as some people say, or some people nickname them bullet bugs. But they're quite noisy. So, see here, Kajal 2. I don't hear people hyping up Kajal too much. I spoke fairly highly of them. For the money, I thought that Yasmina was a pretty solid fragrance. And I did compare it to Tom Ford because I felt like it had somewhat of a similar feel and a vibe. At least that reminded me, at least the style-wise, not the same notes, not the same smells, but y'all know what I'm saying to a Tom Ford. And, it was a full 100 mil for, I think it was 180 last time I looked. And the Tom Ford private lines, if you pay the full price, are, some are cheaper, some are more affordable, but some are $350 odd dollars for and I think they're 50 mils, aren't they? But terribly expensive. But let's see here. I really enjoy Arabian Oud. I haven't tried many Arabian Oud fragrances from that house. I'll have to give that brand a try. I really don't know too much about them. Is there one that you recommend in particular that I should try out, or I should buy a sample of? There, Randy. I do need to try that house. Y'all know that I'm always curious about oud. I might come off as an oud guy. I did go through a phase. I still am very curious. I still want to explore some of the really fantastic natural ouds out there, but not every fragrance in my collection needs to be a oud. And I don't really wear heavy, strong ouds or oud attars all the time. Even though I bought some oils and attars from Arabian houses, the ones I bought were mostly musks, or they were kind of like oriental blends with spices and maybe a tiny bit of oud, but I don't think any actual full size actual pure oud oils like roll-ons or anything like that, but I'd like to have one. I'd like to. Let's see here. If I am considering spending my hard-earned money on more expensive fragrance, I would prefer a sample at first. Absolutely. Blind buying niche fragrances, especially if you're on a budget, if it's a big investment, I think is definitely not the way to go. And again, if you're in a bigger city, y'all can definitely go to boutiques, and you don't have to, blind buy a fragrance. And nobody really has to, but definitely sample first. There's a lot of places to go to who provide samples. There's myfragrancesamples.com. There's the Fragrance Decant Boutique. There's some reputable people through some of the Facebook groups. You could go that way if you'd like, but if you want kind of like for the best for the price, or maybe the biggest variety, I guess you could say. There's Lucky Scent, but they do have the daubers, which really bother people. They don't really let you. It doesn't allow you to spray them. But that's I haven't done it in a while, but I've done a couple of times. I've spent like $100 or more, over $100, and just had a big sample lot come in. There's tons of samples. So Lyra is on my wish list. Also, hi there, Stephanie Dimming. Happy to see you. Absolutely. Lyra, from what I've heard, is really charming stuff. I think that's an exclusive. I'm not. Is that one available to buy online? It used to be a exclusive that wasn't available, and that's, I guess. I know it's supposed to be a good fragrance, but I almost want to be suspicious and say that's why some people really got into it, is because it was hard to get and rare. So some people were definitely bragging about owning Lyra because not everybody has or can get it, or it's not easy to get. Evening scent of the day is Dior Homme Intense. Can't go wrong with that one, Ronald. That's a real charmer. That's a real good date fragrance, Dior Homme Intense. And also, there are some ladies who are, comfortable with wearing it. So, if you're a lady out there who, wants a scent like that with iris and a little bit of some dry chocolatey vibes, and it's a real charmer. Don't be scared, ladies. Give it a go. See what you think. And I think a lot of ladies get scared of things that say intense or extreme on them, or they don't want their guy to smell that way. But some of these brands are super deceiving. It's super funny. Noir Extreme by Tom Ford is actually one of the best date fragrances. It's soft and it's charming and it's sweet, and actually one of the best date fragrances out there, in my opinion, the Noir Extreme. And it's very different, overall than the other noirs, the Noir and the Noir de Noir. I know it gets confusing, but there's three of them, if I remember right. Let's see here. Hello there, Indecents. Hello, how you doing? Randy says Amiri and Calumet Blanc. Oh, they're the one who make Calumet Blanc? Oh, okay. I've had my eye on the Calumet Blanc actually for a while. Been wanting to buy that one for a long time. That one has it doesn't have a coffee note. It's supposed to be more of a gourmand oud. It looks right up my alley. Sounds gorgeous, and I definitely want to get my nose on that one. Scent of the day is Salvatore Ferragamo's Uomo Signature. Great fragrance too. That one got a lot of popularity. At least it had its 15 minutes of fame, and it still is kind of pretty highly regarded. I love the regular Uomo, but the Signature definitely makes it a little bit more refined and a little bit more, I don't know, I guess gentlemanly, a little bit more respectable than the playful, bold, and overtly sweet tiramisu coffee fragrance that is the original, the Uomo. So all the noirs are good. Yeah, pick which one ever works best for you. I don't know. For me personally, I think I personally remembered thinking the original Noir was pretty good, but I didn't understand it, or it just didn't work for me. I remember thinking I think, if I remember right, I think the Noir de Noir was a little bit animalic, and I wasn't. I need to revisit that one, but I remember thinking it was a little bit weird, and I probably should have tested a little bit more. But the Noir Extreme is definitely actually really mass appealing, and if that fragrance was hyped by one of these bigger fragrance reviewers as a great date night fragrance, I think that Tom Ford's Noir Extreme could, it kind of deserves the reputation, but it really doesn't have it. As being, an amazing date night fragrance. So, sorry, dogs are going crazy. Bugs and cicadas are too. So, anyways, everybody, what's on your mind? So, nobody really wanted to pipe in about, when, my video topic I released recently. I hope that y'all enjoyed that video. It came from a good place. Again, I do think that people who, have a decent sized collection. I've seen people who have as many as 200 fragrances. And again, everybody wants, of course, do your collection, do things the way you want to. But they have 200 blue fragrances, 200 mass appealing fragrances that are, big top sellers. And they had like 200 fragrances, and none of them were really flankers in particularly. None of them were like weird or just more unusual flankers. They were just all the most mass appealing fragrances, and nothing's wrong with that. But I've seen a number of these people on Facebook groups, and they kind of brag about it. And I don't know. I guess I'm just very much on the opposite side. I would kind of personally recommend that if you have as many as 30 fragrances, I would actually start, you know, getting samples and trying out new fragrances and, trying out something new. Maybe finding a niche fragrance or maybe an odd flanker or rare flanker, something more, a little bit more unusual that you personally love because maybe that person is in love with all the mass appealing scents, but I personally think that that's not. At least I don't think that's the case. Maybe it is. And again, I don't have anything against mass appealing fragrances. I own a lot of them, and I enjoy some of them, and some of them I even mention how many compliments they get me because they are compliment getters. So, but I find that a really interesting topic, and I don't see many fragrance reviewers talk about anything like that because at least I always encourage people to be curious. I know that y'all are curious. At least I think y'all are. I would encourage all of y'all to be very very curious, my friends. Explore things. So, what's your scent of the day? I still have a little bit of what's it called? Hugo Boss, the scent Absolute lingering on me. It's actually been about two days, and it's actually still lingering on my skin. I can still smell it about like an inch off my skin. No joke. So I'm going to be talking about that. I got some real performance fragrances coming for y'all. I know that some of y'all really want long-lasting fragrances and beast mode fragrances, and y'all want to talk about that. So at least for me, when I get into the fall and the winter, this is when I pull out those kinds of fragrances to kind of try to stand up to a little bit of the colder weather. And again, you don't have to. You can wear whatever you want. Underspray it a little bit in the hotter temperatures, but if you want the performance fragrances, I'm about to pull some out for y'all and give y'all some good reviews of those as well. So, but that's my scent of the day, Rich Mitch. I actually kind of gave my nose a little bit of a rest. I've been testing and I smelled a lot of things from samples, and that's one reason I didn't spray myself up with 10 fragrances like sometimes I do when I'm testing. Sometimes that actually bothers with my sleep, and sometimes I have to take a lot of showers. And again, some of these fragrances are super potent. That Hugo Boss, the Scent Absolute, again, no joke. It's been over 2 days pretty much, and I can still smell it like an inch off my skin. It's still there, and crazy, crazy stuff. Hey Ben, I just mentioned Cartier Roadster. That's my scent of the day. Absolutely, you can't fix stupid. That's a great fragrance. Really refined, really good fragrance. Flew under the radar. If you're a gentleman, or even if you're like a 25, 30-year-old guy, I still think that you can really respect Roadster. I think it has more of a classic feel than a vintage. Yes, the 16, 17, 18-year-old crowd is going to say it probably smells old-fashioned, but I disagree. I'm still in my 20s. I think it smells classic and refined, and I think just about anybody, maybe 20 plus, can pull off Cartier's Roadster, and it's a great mint. It's a vanilla that a manly man can still appreciate, and it's refined, and I love a designer fragrance, especially especially when it was used to be really affordable. You can still, if you look at the right places, find it for about $45. A lot of people are charging upwards of $60 for Cartier Roadster. I still think that if you are a gentleman and if you've never gotten into that fragrance DNA and you like mint, if you like more of a dry semi-sweet vanilla, I still think that $60 is a fair price. But as the price is going to creep up because it's discontinued, I certainly wouldn't pay maybe above 80, especially above 100, unless you have to have it. But that's another fragrance that's going to creep up in price, and when it's gone, and there's going to be still people speaking highly of it. At least I will. So, Ronald says, I think if people want to spend money on a fragrance that they do not like themselves, but wear it because the ladies love it, it's their decision. Absolutely. I'm not trying to convince people to be the other way or to, change their mind exactly. But I just wanted to put my opinion out there. And I know that, and it's kind of a word of encouragement because I think a lot of men don't have a lot of, haven't had a lot of father figures in their life. They haven't had a lot of encouragement to, be who they are and be themselves. You can wear beautiful fragrances and seductive fragrances and be very charming to the ladies and still find that fragrance that personally works for you. But I feel like a lot of guys do buy into some of these fragrances just because they know it's a good date fragrance, or I can't tell you how many people I've seen buy La Nuit de l'Homme and talk about La Nuit de l'Homme, and expect some kind of results, or expect some kind of reaction to have a. It's a lot of guys out there. That's why they wear fragrances. So I'm not trying to say that's a bad thing. That was not my intention. So good evening, scent of the day, a Prada El Homme Absolute. I do need to try the Absolute. I don't think I've tried that one. I don't think I have. There's the intense version, and there's the Absolute. Would you recommend it? I've heard it's a little bit more smoky, a little bit darker. Is it worth the money? I've been tempted to blind buy it. I've never smelled it. It's not at my local mall, so I'd have to blind buy it. So I don't know if it's worth it, though. We'll have to see. I thought that the original Prada El Homme was a fine fragrance. It's good for a daily wear, a clean wear, office wear. Very inoffensive and clean. It does have a very fancy vibe. To me, it's like a fancy bar of soap kind of fragrance. But I wasn't overly impressed with it. But it is a good daily driver scent. It is good, but I am still kind of surprised it got so popular with hitting the top 10 list. Some of these fragrance reviewers are really speaking highly about it. And it's a fine fragrance. I just don't find it terribly exciting, but I'm the weird guy, I guess. So let's see here. I appreciate the topic. I have a decent sized collection, 50-ish, and I definitely like variety. Absolutely, Stephanie. Stephanie Demi. I do like variety as well, and having different fragrances that are that have different characters about them, different styles, different perfumers, of course, made them with different notes. You have a fragrance that can cover a wide variety of situations, depending on whatever factors you personally care about, whether it be the weather, whether it be the season, whether it be your outfit, whether it be your emotion, whether it be if you're trying to be attractive. And there's probably a lot of other factors that people could think of. Some people wear fragrances for religious reasons, especially in the Middle East with oud. There's a lot of reasons why you might wear a fragrance. So, I guess find those things that are important to you. So, have you smelled Casbah? That sounds familiar, but I don't remember. It might not be Casbah. This might be a completely different fragrance, but I tried a fragrance, and again, I'm not sure if it's that one, but it was like an incense bomb. It smelled like a church. It smelled like a Catholic church, and it was very potent and kind of sour, and kind of blew me away. I don't think I ever did a review of that. It was kind of like an obscure fragrance. I didn't want to beat up on it. I personally wouldn't want to smell like it if that's the same fragrance I'm thinking of. So. I think people wear scents that they might not like, but it gets them compliments, and they convince themselves that they like it. I do think that happens, and I think that's kind of somewhat of what's going on. And I kind of made that video again. It came from a good place. It came from me trying to encourage people to be happy and to be authentic to themselves. Because I do think a lot of people, again, nothing's wrong with the compliment videos and the compliment factor, and looking for compliments. But if you don't feel happy in of yourself, if you're not happy until you get noticed, if you wear a fragrance with that expectation and you're anxious, or you're not going to feel fulfilled unless you got a bunch of compliments, or maybe you think that the previous day you got 3 compliments, so today you want 3 compliments, or maybe you want 4 or 5 compliments. I don't think that's a good way to go about enjoying this fragrance hobby. But to each their own. If somebody truly wants to do that, if that makes them happy, I mean, they can do that. But I think you're kind of cheating yourself. Again, it's good to have that experience with other people. Y'all know this, but enjoy fragrances for you, and connect to that fragrance. And there's been plenty of times where I've worn a fragrance, it's good, but it's not the biggest compliment fragrance in the world. And when it puts me in a good mood, my posture's great, I'm looking good, I got a smile on my face, people can tell then I'm happy and I'm cheerful. I'm making a good conversation. Even if it's not the biggest compliment getter fragrance in the world, it really adds, and it really helps. People they're kind of more likely to compliment you more than the fragrance. Again, it depends on if it's projecting in people's faces, but people when they compliment, and this kind of gets into the deeper subject of this. When people compliment, you, it really needs to be about you and that fragrance kind of being a part of you instead of really being, them complimenting the fragrance and not you. Does that make sense? It should really be, again, if you're connected to that fragrance and that fragrance is really a part of your emotion, your style, or whatever it is, it's going to be a lot more personal of a thing, and I think it's more significant. And I've also, again, gotten more compliments that way. If I have good body language and I look good, I'm being clean, I'm washed, I'm trim, feeling good. That's when I'm more likely to get compliments. So, absolutely convinced. I get you. It's all good. Yeah. People say it's redundant to buy if you have Prada El Homme or the intense version, but I like the added spice in the cardamom. I might have to get the intense version. I really like cardamom. Cardamom is one of my favorite notes of all time, and I really do need to check out that fragrance. Been tempted to blind buy it a couple of times, but Cloud-Based Scents. Oh, happy to see you, Cloud-Based Scents. Absolutely. Happy to see all of y'all. How y'all doing today? Scent of the day is definitely Perfumum's Roma. How do you say that? Confetto. What's that fragrance like? I do like Perfumum Roma. I like the idea. I love the style. The few fragrance, a little bit I've smelled from them has blown me away. And I don't know why, but I like the name Perfumum Roma. And I definitely want to get into that house. It's definitely a house that I want to own a number of them. So it's also limited edition, so won't be readily available soon. Oh, I need to buy it sooner than later. Well, I'm not sure. I'm kind of conflicted. I've been trying to save up my pennies, get my little nickels and dimes together, and I'm trying to afford a bottle of kerosene. Kerosene's blackmail. I really want that fragrance for the fall and the winter this year. I really like it. It's kind of like a dark fruity fragrance, like a dark berry, and it has a smokiness, and it's kind of a mysterious bad boy kind of smelling fragrance, and really good stuff. If you like Cedroc Boisé, for example, you like that dark berry, you want something darker, and also if you've tried Enchanted Forest by the Vagabond Prince, but you wanted something instead of that green aspect to the fragrance, you wanted something a little bit smoky, it also would be really nice. So I'm just trying to get some comparisons out there for y'all if that makes any sense. I hope it does. Comparing and contrasting. So anyways, everybody, any thoughts, any questions? Personally, that's mostly what's been on my mind. I'm getting close to getting through all of my older recordings. I don't know if y'all have noticed, but I've been uploading just about 2 videos a day, and I'm about to get to the point where I'm done with my older videos, and y'all will be able to see me in real time with some of the things I'm testing more in the present. I still have about 28 videos to get through, because remember, guys, I had over 100 videos that were recorded. I did tons of work. I worked in advance, and I think that, I don't know, I might do this next year a little bit as well, because it actually saves me the effort of actually having to go out here in the hot sun, and I don't have to go out here so much. I'm still sweating, and it's later in the day. It's actually getting cooler, so I want to try Follow from Kerosene. Oh yes, that looks beautiful. That's their coffee fragrance. That's their looks really, really good. And if y'all do like coffee, again, coffee is amazing for the fall and the wet, cold weather. Definitely give try out, if you are buying decants, or little samples from LuckyScent.com. Try a fragrance called Boissimo from Solani Hilde. You should be able to find it. Just search her last name, Hilde, Hilde, and you should be able to find her fragrances. And there's one called Boissimo, and it smells like an Italian bistro with some coffee. It's authentic. It's charming. It's one of the And I'm not sure it goes head to head with Montal's Ristretto Cafe, is my favorite coffee so far. I know that there's some other niche coffees that are deeper and darker and richer. I I do like the coffee note to be balanced. I do like robust, strong coffee smells, but I like it to be balanced. I don't want it to overpower the composition. So I haven't found one like that. That I don't know. I haven't tried one that I'm crazy about yet. That's super strong coffee wise, but see here. Yeah, definitely. Let's see here. I look forward to some updates of your own fragrance creations, whether they're oils or perfumes. I'll definitely, in the future, give y'all maybe some insights to that. I'm happy that some of y'all are excited for that and encouraging me to, move forward. I am trying to push myself forward, and y'all know that I am trying to make my own fragrance brand and work on that dream. It's money. Money's the biggest struggle. That's been my struggle from the beginning. But we'll see. We'll have to see. I'm one of those guys, there's some people with lots of money and no creativity. I'm always one of those guys that has lots of creativity and no money. So, no rush. Absolutely. I won't keep y'all in the dark. And I think I'm gonna push forward with a lot of businesses and endeavors and see what sticks. But I think I'm gonna give away some bars of soap. I'm gonna with my soap company. I'm gonna start when I hit 5,000 on Instagram. I'm creeping up there. I've got almost 4,200 at this point. I'm creeping up to 5,000. I think I'm gonna do a big giveaway, 4 big sample boxes again, and I'm gonna give everybody one of my bars of soap and see how that works out. And hope that does work out. let Let me know what. Sorry, got something in my throat there. Let me know if there's something that y'all would like in a bar of soap company, or if y'all think that's ridiculous. Let me know if that's a good idea or not. I do want to make a soap company that includes at least, I don't want to spoil everything, but you know, a different way about going about natural soaps. And I do think that a lot of people haven't experienced and maybe aren't benefiting from something that's better for their skin and better for their mood and better for their health. And I don't want to spoil my company before I release it, but yeah, it's I think it'll be exciting. Fragrance Journey, hey, what's up? Hey, my friend, how you doing? Happy to see you. Are there any new fragrances that you've been getting into? Anything exciting? Anything interesting, my friend? Happy to see you. What's new in your world? Anything exciting? Say yo, yes, absolutely. Y'all know Fragrance Journey. Y'all know who he is. He's how you do it? I don't know what to say, but we're talking about. What do you think of Fragrance Journey? I know that you really didn't mess with designers too long, did you? In my opinion, I would kind of encourage people after 20 or 30 fragrances to maybe start dabbling into different flankers, maybe dabbling into sampling niche. But that's my personal opinion. We all have a different fragrance journey. I certainly am not trying to, I don't know, convince or strong arm or force anybody, of course, to do anything. Absolutely not. But I'm looking for a leather fragrance for all that's not too overwhelming but still smells good. Any ideas? Absolutely. There's a lot of them, in my humble opinion. You might want to check out Kalahari from Naomi Paris. It has ambrette. Ambrette is one of the most delicate. It's a musk, really. Ambrette can actually, depending on what kind of ambrette, I guess, or maybe when it's harvested, ambrette can smell actually somewhat animalic and musky, but it can also smell leathery and musky. It's really, really nice. And I don't know if you like saffron, but I find that saffron can have a really nice suede leather kind of quality about it. So you might want to find some fragrances that have a little bit of nice saffron. I personally think some people have kind of naysayed it, but it's still somewhat available. I think Polo Supreme leather is probably the best mass appealing leather on the market right now. It has honey, It's sweet, it's suede-like, it's smooth, it's not overtly strong. It's a 6-7 hour fragrance, and it just does a lot of things right. If you want a super inoffensive, you know, kind of a good introduction to not only honey but also leather, I think that Polo Supreme leather is kind of hard to beat. You can find it for about 70 odd US dollars. It is getting a little bit hard to find. I'm probably it's probably discontinued at this point, but you can still find it at some places. It probably will dry up in the next year. It probably will be hard to find. So I checked that one out. Um, but I think there's a number of them. But of course, I really like leather. And sorry, hopefully I'm not speaking too loud, but I'm trying to project my voice over these cicadas, these bugs. They're ringing in my ears, and it's really loud. So, hey yo, Robes08, how you doing, my friend? How's it going? It's an honor to have you in the house, my friend. Any new fragrances on your radar? Anything that we need to know of going into the fall weather? Anything that we need to know of, my friend? It's I hope that y'all are enjoying my content. I don't know. I hope that y'all do. I'm keeping it down to earth. I'm doing old school fragrance reviews. I try to make them as informational and as quick as possible. I'm always self-conscious, but let me know if I'm finding a good balance. I always worry, but again, I'm confident, and I guess I'm comfortable with what I'm doing, but I always wonder, y'all know who I am, what I'm like. I always wonder if I can do better. So let me know. Robes08, if you have any suggestions. So let's see here. Being an oud and animalic lover, not many designers offer what I'm looking for. No, I completely understand. Absolutely. So I was just curious if you thought that, do you think that people who are designers, I'm not suggesting that everybody become niche heads. I'm not suggesting anything like that. I'm saying that at what point do you think that, you would encourage somebody to maybe search out some new flankers, some fragrances, that aren't maybe so well known. They don't even have to be niche. They don't even have to be indie. Just maybe some unexplored, maybe some older vintage fragrances, or maybe some amazing affordable cheapies that maybe not everybody knows about. At what point would you recommend that? I kind of would recommend after 20, 30 fragrances, of the really mass appealing stuff. I would recommend that. So, Robes08 in the building. Absolutely. It's an honor. Y'all know Robes08. He's an OG. If you don't know, I am a younger kid on the block. I've been reviewing for getting close, or I might have already crossed the 2-year threshold of fragrance reviewing. It might not seem like I've been reviewing that long, but it's been almost 2 years, my friends. It's been a journey, and I have over 500 videos. I know that's nothing compared to Robes08, but I've been around a little while, and if you don't know Robes08, he's been going on, getting close to, what is it? Is it 9 or is it 10? You've been around for almost a decade, man, and I don't even know how many videos Robes08 has, but give him some credit. A lot of people doing the top 10s and seeking the clout, seeking the popularity. They've gotten 100,000 plus subs and all that kind of stuff. But the Robes08 is kind of like our solid anchor. He's our solid man in the fragrance community. Kind of holding everything down, holding down the fort. So Cicada EDP, absolutely. Maybe I need to do that. Make a video called like Noisy Bugs or Noisy Critters or something. I don't know if y'all can hear them coming through, but I can hear them loud and clear. And they sing every morning. They sing every night. They're cicadas. They're crazy buggers. So let me get back to the comments. Let's see here. Ombre Leather, Armani Code, CH Men Privé are pretty good and are not overwhelming. Absolutely, Ronald. Those are really good leathers. So I've heard some people say that ombre leather rubs them the wrong way, becoming very slightly, medicinal. That some people say, and I've seen some people say that ombre leather becomes smoky on them. Maybe I just like I like smoke too much, that I'm not sensitive to it. Maybe like Fragrance Journey likes oud. Some people might be. Be really sensitive to oud, but he's on the opposite side. He really enjoys it. Maybe I like smoke too much. I really like some of the smoky Aventus batches. I remember people saying that Rhyolite by Happy Land Fragrances was smoky, and I felt like it felt a little bit smoky, but it didn't smell smoky at all. It didn't smell smoky at all to me. And Yaldir by Alchemia is pretty fascinating. I don't know if I'll buy it, but it's probably the strongest birch tar fragrance I've tried in a while. So absolutely, and CH Men Privé, absolutely. Probably the best recommendation right there. CH Men Privé, probably for a leather date night, bad boy kind of fragrance. So let's see here. FJ, absolutely. Rose away. Wearing T-Rex right now. See, that's some daring stuff. You're a bold man right there, Robes Away. From Zoologist. Perfect for the fall, but not for the weak-hearted. Absolutely not for the weak-hearted. T-Rex is a monster of a fragrance. It's very strong, very potent, and it smells to me, of golden patchouli, blood, smoke, and it has that signature metallic vibe that blood can have, and it can be very polarizing. Some people think Bull's Blood by Imaginary Authors is crazy. I think that T-Rex is like a step up. Bull's Blood by Imaginary Authors is little brother to T-Rex. So that's saying something. So thanks for all the suggestion on leather. Absolutely. You can't fix stupid. We're happy to help. That's what this is all about. And if you ever want to message me, on my little Facebook group, which is really small and I need to be more active in there, you can message me there. Y'all can reach out to me on Instagram Messenger. If you're really desperate, you could email me. But yeah, absolutely. Have you tried Etot? Have you tried Etot Tom of Finland? Oh, Etot Deeper Leorad. Yes, I have tried it. It does have a signature plastic quality, and it's kind of a mass appealing, almost musky fragrance, but it has a signature plastic quality. If you know what cellophane smells like, maybe it'll remind you of that. It's infamous for smelling like a certain protective, a certain thing that you might use when you're, I don't know, having bedtime fun. It's very infamous for that. People joke about it on Fragrantica all the time, and I don't think I want to smell like that. But it's a really fascinating fragrance, and I think he pulled off that kind of smell very well. The fragrance world is full of curiosities, full of strange little creatures, strange little monsters, sometimes hidden in the corners, hidden sometimes in people's closets, and one of them is Tom of Finland, absolutely. And for some people, it will be obscene. For some people, it will be strange. For some people, it will be disgusting. And but for some people, it's just a heck of a lot of fun. It's actually pretty wearable, but I don't know if people wouldn't have told me about that vibe, what it's the inspiration or what and kind of what's behind the fragrance. Maybe I would have gotten along with it a little bit more. And also another part of that fragrance is I think was it inspired or wasn't it kind of a big part of with all due respect the gay community. I don't have anything against them, but I am more, I guess, traditional, not in mindset or anything, nothing political, but with how I kind of affiliate my myself. So I don't know if I went to a bigger city, maybe if I moved to a bigger city, I wouldn't want to lead anybody on, and I certainly maybe wouldn't want to give that impression off. But it's not a bad thing. It's not bad. I'm just saying, as a guy who's interested in ladies, if you know what I mean, I might not want to, give off that impression. So, time flies. Absolutely, cyanide. Time does fly. It flies really fast. Hi, Solar Ink. I have smelled it, and it might work. Fendi, Fan to Fendi is a good boozy leather that's not overbearing. Absolutely. Fendi, Fan to Fendi Assoluto was actually one of the best designer fragrance out there on the market for a while. When you used to be able to find it for about $35, I was really speaking highly about it. I was talking about it, and I should have talked more about it, but the supply did dry up eventually. It was one of those really good fragrances for the money that I really highly spoke about, and I hope that a few of y'all were able to get your nose on that one. For a designer fragrance, the Fendi, you know, if you really like things like Valentino Aqua or maybe even Versace's The Dreamer, you might like the Aqua Fanta Fendi. But I think the Assoluto was an excellent designer release. Excellent. But some of them dry up over time. You know, some of them disappear on us. Just like was it Cartier's Declaration en Soir Intense. The Intense version is discontinued and very hard to find these days. And I spoke really highly of that one. And of course, there's a few other little creatures that are forgotten, like Victor and Rolf Antidote. Almost everybody forgot about that one, but it was really well done. A really great designer release too. So let's see here. I love ombre leather. On the dry down, it smells similar to effing fabulous. Absolutely, I can see the resemblance a little bit. I like ombre leather. I think I might have to buy it sometime. I do think it's its own complete fragrance, but to me it begs to be layered. And I kind of want to. I don't have the money right now, but I kind of want to get a bottle of the 2016. The 2016, if y'all don't know, that fragrance, used to be a private collection, and then it was moved to the more regular collection, just like the what was that fragrance called? It's escaping me. Bois de Jour recently happened. And the difference, in my opinion, of the 2016 ombre leather is that it doesn't exactly smell fresh like citrusy, but it feels a lot brighter overall. And again, it's kind of interesting because it doesn't feel like it comes from citrus. So instead of being a little bit more mellow and maybe the recent batches maybe a tiny bit smoother, the previous version was a lot brighter, and I felt like it did project a lot better. It had about the same longevity, but it did project better. So I don't know if there was a certain aroma chemical that became hard to get, became too expensive. I really don't know the story behind. I wish I did. I wish I knew the inside scoop, but if I did know all the inside secrets, I probably would have had to sign a non-disclosure agreement, and then I probably couldn't tell you anyways. So let's see here. Ronald says T-Rex equals scent of the week. Oh, that must be a question for Robes. Robes the man. I'm not sure. Is Robes still here? Is everybody here? Sometimes people come, sometimes people go. Sometimes they disappear, so... T-Rex, keep all the ladies away. It's a social distancing fragrance. It probably would scare or offend people more than it would attract them. So absolutely, if you're trying to social distance, wear some T-Rex, and they'll probably keep people away. And that's actually kind of a funny topic. I've thought about doing a video about that. Some people, I don't know. I think it would be lighthearted. I think it could be fun, but some people want to take things very seriously. Or don't want people to be lighthearted about this topic at all. So I don't know if I will do anything like that. But there are some fragrances that you could wear to scare people away. So, anyways, everybody, we got 11 people. Some people went away. I don't know if if I scared some people away. I don't know if maybe somebody else is doing a live, but whoever's still here. Keep the conversation going. Help me out. So, I don't know what else is on my mind. What else is on my mind? I'm trying to save for a smoky fragrance. I think I told y'all last time. Art Olfacto has a fragrance I really want called Black Hashish, and that's been on my mind. But besides that, I don't know. I have a lot to review. There's what's that brand called? Trying to remember the name. They age their fragrances in like whiskey barrels. They have the PRO, the patchouli rum, and what's that? I can't remember the name right now, but that might be fun to try out. Those fragrances are not cheap at all, but I don't know why I can't remember right now. But you just search PRO fragrance or OBO. They have a number of them that have like little 3-letter words to them. And you should be able to find them. It's like, it might be Distillery Series or Distillery something. My mind is gone. Anyways, check those out. If you like some boozy fragrances, you want something dark and intense. I'm interested to see if do y'all tend to pull out the ouds or the coffees or the tobaccos in the colder months. I do, but I'm curious to see if you do. Do y'all tend to pull out the coffees and the gourmands, the sweet stuff, or do you not do that? I'm curious. I might be the man on his island. I might be the one man doing his own thing, and I might have a weird idea about how things are. You gotta let me know. So, anyways, let's see here. Keep the ladies. I already read that. Are there any certain fragrances y'all are curious about? Like any notes that y'all have on your mind? For me personally, I have, I don't know everything fragrance wise. I'm still curious, and I still want to try more notes. Every once in a while, you'll find a little note snuck into a fragrance, and then you start to try to understand it. And at least I do. I know maybe that's more of a perfumer's kind of thing to do. But I want to explore the world of tarragon right now. I don't know why, but I'm curious. I'm very curious about the world of tarragon. And there's very few fragrances that use it. But I would like to maybe find a fragrance that has tarragon. And maybe I'll like it. I do have a fragrance that has fennel. It's called Baume de Jauge by it's like something to Italy. It's a little fragrance house. They're not too well known, but it's a really good one if you like things like camel, or if you like spicy, kind of, I don't know, oriental ambery kind of things. You might like that one. That was really fascinating, and I'm happy to have that one in my collection. So, anyways, tarragon's on my mind. I have my cumin fragrance, but I know a lot of people are scared of cumin or think it's strange. But I do want to try cumin a little bit more. I do want to see if any perfumer has been daring enough or original enough to do something really interesting with cumin. I know that note has a lot of potential, and I just don't see it utilized too often. And these are ideas also for my own perfume brand that I guess I'm just thinking off the top of my head. There's one I kind of want to keep this one near to the heart, but it has something to do with a certain sweet syrup. You could probably guess what it is. It's a very famous sweet syrup, and I want to see what I can do with that note and how I can incorporate that into my own brand. So that'll be fun to see what y'all think about that. Anyways, are there any notes that you would like to see more in perfumery? I guess that's what I was getting at. Do you want to see more honey? Do you think honey should be more popular? Or I get we're not really predicting the trends. We're just like, what do you personally want to see more of? Do you think there should be more cardamom in fragrances? Are you a big fan of lavender? Are you a big fan of oak moss and you want the return of oak moss to be popular once again? What's on your mind? What's going on? Anyways, everybody, let's see. Haven't seen any comments for a little while. Anybody home? Anybody there? Knock knock. Yeah, I can't keep going on like a monologue, but I like it to be a conversation. I like everybody to be involved, and I like this for us to learn and share, help each other. So for me personally, I do think that patchouli is a great note. Let's see here. I'm about to cop Chergui. Chergui by Serge Lutens is an amazing fragrance, beautiful. I don't know why some people. I know that we all have different noses and we all think about things differently, but to me, Chergui is undisputed a wine fragrance. That's what the fragrance is all about. Some people describe it as a tobacco fragrance. Some people focus on the hay. Yes, the hay is noticeable, and the hay does add a very signature, good, and fascinating quality to the fragrance. But to me, the big note out of that fragrance and what the Chergui is all about is a luxurious wine that like imagine if you walked into a barn and you poured like a farmer's wine, not the most refined and elegant wine in the world, but a little bit rough around the edges. To me, that's how that fragrance comes across. That the farmer put some effort into it, but still, it's still not the king's wine. If that makes sense, it's not the fanciest, it's not the purest, but it's still fantastic. And I definitely like the feel and the smell of Chergui. It's beautiful, guys. I love Santal Majusculin, and I've thought about buying 5 o'clock Gingembre a number of times. I probably should just go ahead and buy it. And I'm also really tempted to buy Juxtapo, blind buy it, but I haven't done that yet. So, anyways, absolutely. I hope that you enjoy that Cherokee. It's gorgeous. If you like things like Paco Rabanne's 1 Million Privé, if anybody else out there likes fragrances like that, you're gonna love Cherokee. Absolutely. So, still here, bro. Hey there, Schism. Happy to see you. How you doing? Happy to see you. And anything you want to tell us? Let's see here. Stephanie says, I want more honey, tobacco, whiskey, and cardamom. I love all those notes too. I would like to see those more popular. I don't think tobacco is going to come back anytime soon. Tobacco actually used to be a lot more popular, but it fell out of popularity. I think it's a little bit too rugged. You know, men maybe don't want so rugged fragrances, and guys do want to be really, really attractive to the ladies. And I don't know if the average lady wants their man to smell like tobacco, but I really like tobacco, and there are some fragrances that have been able to pull it off and gain some popularity. I recently did a review of Bulgari's Man in Black, and that's one of those fragrances that was able to make it. It was able to get fairly popular, really well done, and have good performance, and still be attractive and still be charming. If you're a man out there who hasn't gotten your nose, and it's affordable too, at least as affordable as Bulgaris will get. They usually don't go super cheap. They usually don't go $20 or less. They're Bulgaris, of course. So you can cop one or pick one up for about 40, 45 odd dollars usually. Some of them are a little, closer to $35, but it depends. But, that Bulgari Man in Black, get your nose on it. If you like cardamom and if you like tobacco, I don't think you'll be disappointed in that one. So it does have tuberose, which I've seen some people say that they don't like the tuberose so much, but I guess I'm a big fan of tuberose, I do have to say. So whiskey, love whiskey. And again, guys, I don't know why the camera is focusing on and off so much. I guess it's focusing on my finger or something. I don't know. Sorry about that, guys. Let's see here. Whiskey is really nice. I think that Pure Malt by Mugler is about the best whiskey probably for the money, designer-wise, as far as I know. I don't know of any others that really have a whiskey note in the designer world of things that have been able to do it really well. And there is a whiskey note to C.H. Min Privé, which we already mentioned. But to me, it's a lot more subdued, and some people say it doesn't smell like whiskey at all. So, I would like to see more boozy notes and fragrances. And I've always personally thought that vodka, for example, could easily be snuck into a lot of fragrances because vodka or even moonshine has that transparent, or possibly even tequila, has that clear, just boozy quality. It doesn't have anything extra in it, like rum with all the spices and the raisins or the prune or the plum-like smell to it. It doesn't have anything, whiskey can, but, especially what's considered bourbon, and maybe some of those whiskeys as well can be very, very smoky. And there's, what's another, and the tequila might just have a little bit of sweetness and maybe a little bit of a watery, almost like eucalyptus feel, but a lot of the boozy notes could be snuck into fragrances. Mead, y'all know about that. It's going to have maybe a little bit of a honey aspect, and if it's depending on the honey, it can also be animalic. That's really fascinating too. So, any brands to stay away from? Just personal preferences or pricing. For me personally, Bond Number 9. Bond Number 9 does have a few winners. I think Ches Bond's great, but if I could find it for about $100, I probably would buy it. But for full retail, especially, I don't think it's worth it. Bond Number 9, and I don't want to beat up on the brand. So, anyways, what are some other ones? I don't want to beat up on Dua. I need to try out their new releases, but when they were kind of in their earlier days, I blind bought like a dozen fragrances, and when I did that, there was a couple of them that I thought were decent, but I didn't love any of them, and I haven't tried any of the new Duas, so I'm not saying stay away from them. Some people like putting on one or two sprays. It is highly concentrated because it's an extrait, but I can't really say if I think it's worth the money or not. But they are kind of expensive for what they are. Sometimes, if you find a sale on the original fragrance, you can almost get you can buy the Dua for a smaller amount that is more affordable, but price per mil compared to getting 3 bottles of the Dua, if you find the original on sale, you can almost get it for the original for the same price. So a lot of the times for me personally, I don't know. I'd almost go with the original, but that's a kind of a curious brand. Um, what's that brand called? What's that brand called? Diesel. Personally have not found any diesels that I found that were respectable. Diesel, it's like Spirit of Life or something like that, was kind of popular when the brand first came out. I had a cousin who ran through a whole bottle of it, and some people seem to have good memories of it. It's a very loud fragrance, and if you want performance, it's actually it can be a pretty big compliment getter. It's kind of like I don't know if I would say it's boozy, but kind of a boozy, sweet, almost like a caramel fragrance for men, but it's very cloying and almost reminds me a little bit of kind of like a distant cousin of a jupe. It reminds me of that for some reason, and that doesn't work for me. So Diesel, that's one of them. What are some other brands that don't work for y'all? I'm curious. I'm trying to think. Y'all know my feelings about Creed. I don't want to beat up on Creed as a company now, but y'all know that they've been lowering their quality with some of their fragrances, and some of them they've reduced the ambergris, and they don't feel the same anymore. And y'all know that they bought out. So especially going into the future, I would be very cautious, especially about blind buying. There's going to be a lot of these fragrance lovers and enthusiasts who are still Creed fans. They don't care that Creed cheated people with a Ventus cologne. They don't care about all the batch changes. They think the batch variations are a joke. And when Creed comes out, with their new fragrance line, or maybe they're going to change things a lot. I really don't know how they're going to go about what they're doing, but they're going to hype things up and they're going to be super excited about it, just like how they were with a Ventus cologne. And some of these people went to the Creed events and blind bought Ventus cologne and these kinds of things. And more power to them. There's going to be people who love them, but I'd be very cautious, people. I'd be very cautious. So I'm trying to think of other brands that come to mind. Parfums de Marly, paying full retail for them at least. I personally wouldn't pay full retail. I'm not a Tom Ford head. I think that ombre leather is great. I think that Tuscan leather is a very good creative fragrance. I just don't find many times to wear it. I think oud wood is a gold standard of a modern wearable synthetic oud fragrance. It's great, the oud wood. I really want a bottle of Italian cypress, and if I could afford to spray Costa Azzurra on all the time, I think Costa Azzurra is great, but it has terrible longevity, and I cannot justify the price at all. But besides that, I'm just not. I'm not a big, and I do again. I really do respect Noir Extreme for a date night fragrance for the guys. But besides that, I'm not a big Tom Ford head, and especially for full retail. Some people do pay full retail for Tom Ford. I couldn't do it, and kind of goes the same for Killians. I don't know why, but Killians are fine. Killians are great, but full retail for Killian, I don't know about that. But let's see here. Still here. Yes, absolutely, Stephanie Deming. Thank you for hanging out with us. It's wonderful to have you. Natalie K says, I would like to smell more Open X and Myrtle. Absolutely. I know that some people are kind of conflicted with Myrtle. Myrtle can be a really interesting little note. It can almost smell like olive wood. It can have this clear wood, almost like synthetic wood smell to it. But the Myrtle can have these little fluttery green aspects to it, and also can sometimes remind me a tiny bit of lavender. And but Myrtle is a really fascinating little note. I think it's awesome that you pointed that out. Myrtle that's fascinating. I would have never guessed that somebody said they wanted to smell more myrtle in fragrances. So, what is black currant? I notice a lot of frags have it. A black currant is a berry. There's actually a red currant as well. It's just it's a little circular type of berry. I don't know of all the places it grows in the world, but I know it grows in some UK places. It grows in places like Sweden, and I think it grows in Switzerland as well. It tends to grow in some of those places that are a little bit colder over there in that side of the world. And it's a really nice sweet note, and it has a signature black, blackberry type of smell, like almost a blackberry. I'm sure that y'all are familiar with blackberries. So it almost smells like that, and a lot of people like it. And again, I'm sorry about my camera. I have no idea why it's so auto-focusing in and out and becoming blurry. It's quite annoying. So let's see here. Black currant's very popular. It's in Cedroc Boisé. It's in a number of really popular fragrances. A lot of, I guess, Americans really like that note. And it works. It certainly works. Cuban Barbie's in the house. Happy to see you, Cuban Barbie. Happy to see you pop by. Black currant matters. Yeah, it does, but I don't know. If, I'm not going to get political. If that's what you're kind of joking about. So we don't want to get into that. Have you tried Etro Smaga? I have not tried that. I really don't know much about it. I'll have to look into it. Do you recommend it? What's it all about, Angel? And thank you for popping in. Cyan Oxide says, my 2 ml sample of Cherokee is about empty. Cherokee is nice stuff. Cherokee is really good. I can't speak bad about it. If you can find it on sale, that would be good. Full retail is a little bit steep, but it's a Serge Lutens. It's a niche fragrance. But I think the prices on Serge Lutens are fair. I don't think they're overcharging for their fragrances at all for what they're asking. And most of the time they're asking, if I remember right there, isn't their full retail close to 180? I could be wrong, but you can sometimes find their fragrances on sale depending on when you look at it, and if it's, if somebody's hyped Cherokee or talked about Cherokee or one of them lately, you can find them sometimes as cheap as 80, 90, or maybe a little bit under $100. So I think you get your money's worth for 100 mils for sure. So let's see here. Always sample. Absolutely, always sample. Blind buying's risky unless it's it's really affordable or you're gonna like it. Just don't blind buy niche. At least I would say that's for certain. Try to avoid blind buying if you can, but I do it all the time. Many of my fragrances are blind buys and blind purchases. So I love wine scents. I do too. Wine is a very addictive smell. I don't know why, but I love the smell of white wine, and I could smell white wine all day long. Have you been wearing your Tom Ford Patchouli Absolute? I have. It's yeah, and it's earthy. I don't know. I remember saying that I really liked it, and I don't know if they changed the fragrance. That fragrance is very different from what I remember trying, and I actually went back and Dean and researched Tom Ford to see maybe if I had misspoken and there was another patchouli fragrance. But the sample I had that I tried that had said, patchouli noir, it was more of a golden patchouli fragrance. It was more of a fancy patchouli golden. And the bottle I got, of patchouli, the patchouli noir, I don't know if it was reformulated or completely changed, but that one's more of like a sweet, earthy patchouli, and the fragrance almost reminds me of orchid in a way, and it surprisingly was very it kind of threw me off for a loop. So I'll definitely have to. Yeah, I have been testing it, but it's not what I expected. But I do appreciate it, Dean. Have you got your package in the mail? I need to catch up with you. I'm sorry that I've been so distant. I've been super busy, and I need to stay more in touch with you. If you want to message me all the time on Instagram, I'm on Instagram, and I'll see your messages, and I tend to be on that Instagram all the time. So if y'all want to message me, I'm Centaur Fragrance there, so it's please do. Natalie K says, know of any scents that smell like walking in a humidor. There's so you're looking for like a hot air, humidity, steam fragrance. There's Penhaligon's. Sorry, I thought I heard something. There's one by Penhaligon's that I forget what it's called, but it does. I think it's like savory. I can't remember, but they do have one. I distinctly remember that Penhaligon's has one. It's supposed to capture the smell of steam. So definitely go over there if you want me to. If you get in touch with me, I can look it up for you. It's just a search away on Fragrantica, search up Penhaligon's, and and look at the brand. And they have one that's based on steam. I don't know of too many fragrances that do that. Not a lot of fragrances. I would like to see one that captures the smell of a steamboat. At least where I'm from in the South, there are still, some places on the river, and some places around here, and you can still get yourself on a steamboat. And I think a lot of people find that idea still very charming. So, yes, let's see here. Let's see. I can't stand the bottles from Montal, but for some reason, it reminds me of an old tin canteen. You're right, DFW. They're made out of an aluminum or a very lightweight metal. I think they're made out of aluminum, which is very lightweight, and the bottles are very thin. So if some of y'all want very classy, thick glass, you might be in for be very surprised. And when I first got mine, nobody told me about that. I didn't know that, and when I bought my Montal fragrance, I actually thought, even though it was brand new, sealed and everything, I thought that somebody cheated me, and I actually opened it up and looked inside to see if I'd been cheated. And actually, again, because you look at a glass bottle of fragrance, and it's actually kind of thin, the amount of juice, like the actual portion, the void or the empty space in a bottle. So you get to see a lot of fragrance like flat in front of you, but it's actually spread out kind of thin. So those Montal bottles are pretty small, but that's actually, they do give you a full 100 mils, but it's actually, they don't even have to fill up the whole, the whole thing. There's actually some empty air space in there. So that could surprise a lot of y'all if y'all do get a Montal. They're super lightweight, and it's just a very thin aluminum, like a Coca-Cola can, and and it's not even filled up all the ways. But I still think they're great fragrances, especially if you can find them for $80 or less. My mind is kind of swapped on Montal a little bit. I mean, of course, I like to save money, but I kind of refuse to pay full retail on Montals now, because it really depends on where you're from. But the people in the Middle East and in India and some of those places are paying close to 100 or 90 or 80 US dollars for Montals, because that's what's available to them, and because they're shipped over here, import taxes and tariffs and all those things, those fragrances become $180 fragrances for us in the USA. So to me, those fragrances are only worth like $80 or less. But for example, the people in the Middle East probably have to pay a lot of money for a Chanel, probably have to pay a lot of money for a Dior. So I don't know. It's funny, but maybe not, because they kind of are closer to France, aren't they? I don't know. It's a funny world, but I do see what you're saying there. Let's get back to the comments. Let's see. Yes, Creed is overpriced in my opinion. Don't know about the male fragrances. Yeah, Creed's a fine brand. They do have some nice creations, but for the price, for what you're getting for your money's worth, they're lighter. Some people like those lighter, more wearable fragrances. So I understand that. I'm not trying to beat up on the brand, but for the value for what you're getting, and for such a huge reputation that Creed has, I do sometimes talk about them, because I don't think they really deserve to be considered the king of niche, or the best, the best niche house in the world. I don't think they really justify charging, $400 in boutiques to U.S. people. At least that's my humble opinion. So, no, I haven't gotten yet. Unfortunately, can't wait. Okay, Dean. I did, connect your email. Hopefully, you can track your package, and you can see when it's going to get to you. Shipping is crazy right now. There's shipping delays all around the world, and I think I've heard there's been some UPS problems. So I hope that you get your fragrances, and I hope that the border, whatever it's called, the border security doesn't take them, because it's perfume. So humidors are what cigars are. Oh, okay. Humidors. I don't know if I've smelled anything like that exactly. But if you're looking for a more airy kind of, I would imagine that those smell like a more airy tobacco. You might enjoy the Arabian smell of like hashish, which is more of like the Arabian style of cannabis. So you might want to try, what's it called? There's a fragrance called Hindu Kush by Mansara. I would encourage you, who was that again? Natalie. Natalie, get your nose, get a sample of Hindu Kush from the House of Mansara, and come back and let me know what you think about that one. That's about the best idea I can probably do for that. I don't really know off the top of my head any other fragrances that might resemble anything particularly like that. At least off the top of my head. So, what's that, Ben? Happy to see you. Happy to see you, Cuban Barbie. Oh, that's I'm not. Is that you, Jess? I'm not sure if that's you. If that's you, just have a different profile name. But I'm happy to see you. How you doing? It's always a joy. Cyan Oxide says I got Intense Cafe a few days ago. Awesome fragrance. Absolutely. I think it's a little bit rose heavy, which some people found that maybe they're sensitive to rose or they don't like rose, and maybe they thought it was going to be a very strong coffee dominated fragrance. Intense Cafe is still a very good charmer. It's still great for dates. It's still very, very good. If you like things like Dior Homme Intense, it's not the same, but I do think that if you like Dior Homme Intense, or vice versa, I think that if you like Intense Cafe, you're probably likely to like the other. So it is a really good scent. Great for dates. Very charming fragrance for sure. Tried Ristretto before copying the OG. They're pretty much the same, but not worth 2 times the price. Yeah, I do want the Ristretto Cafe, but it's always sold out, and I do want to get it on a sale. I feel like it has more coffee, and I find that it balances out the rose a little bit more, but you're right. Ristretto Cafe is not a actual coffee dominated fragrance. You might think that they were actually trying to fix the problem because the original Intense Cafe was actually kind of rose heavy. You think that they would have maybe taken away a lot of the rose or maybe upped the coffee a lot. In my opinion, they just upped the coffee a little bit and they made it more balanced. It still doesn't come through as a coffee dominated fragrance in my nose, to my nose, and that's what I hear. The same kind of opinion from a lot of other fragrance people as well. So I find that that's quite interesting. But I do really like the Ristretto Cafe. I do have to say that I like it. I'm kind of a fan. So I do want to get it one day. Troscent says, "What's up, man?" Hey, Troscent. Y'all know him most likely. He's a fellow YouTuber as well. Cool guy. How you doing, Troscent? How's the fragrance life going for you, my friend? Never duplicate frags in the house. Solano, how you doing? How's the fragrance life going for you? Any new fragrances on your mind? Anything new? Cuban Barbie, how you doing? Says yes. Oh, it's Jess. Happy to see you. If y'all don't know, she's a bodacious Cuban lady on the scene. Happy to have her. I don't know if you were into the YouTube scene, but I'm happy to see you here chatting with us. And would love to see you as a fragrance reviewer if you ever have the desire. We're encouraging her to become a fragrance reviewer as well. Wonderful Cuban lady, so check her out. Troscent says, "How's it going?" Absolutely, Troscent's doing good. Feeling better. I made myself some really interesting chicken tenders of sorts that had like a breading on them that tasted kind of like hot wings. So I thought that was kind of fun today. I did something a little bit different. So, maybe try that out, Troscents, and see what you think about it. Look up a recipe to make chicken tenders that taste like hot wings. Anyways, any frags that exceed your expectations or frags that didn't smell how you thought they would, but you ended up being great? Just bought Ormond Jane Montabaco Intensivo and was surprised but still happy. I love Montabaco Intensivo, and I really want to try the flankers now. It's an amazing fragrance, and I think that I don't know if I was a part of its popularity that much, but I did realize that Montabaco Intensivo did get a bunch of flankers. A little while after I spoke really highly about Montabaco Intensivo. So I like to think that I was an influence, to that fragrance's popularity and why those flankers exist, and I gotta try the flankers. There are some. I was really surprised with Oud Vanille by Mansara. I blind bought that fragrance. I wasn't expecting for the Oud to come off as medicinal, but it does. It does go away after a time. That it's still a good fragrance, and it ends up really being really, really charming. But I never thought that I would actually like medicinal oud. It's about the only medicinal oud fragrance I've actually think that I've enjoyed full-heartedly. but it really surprised me. It's no joke. It's not the strongest, you know, slap in the face, but it certainly does slap you in the face with the medicinal oud kind of off the bat. It's not playing any games. Mancera's oud, oud vanille, but I did like it. That's one of the definitely one of the fragrances that comes to mind to me. So, Ben, have you tried 1821 Sweet Tobacco, Man-Made Spirits? No, I haven't. I actually saw that when that brand first came out, and they did some promotions with some fellow fragrance reviewers years ago, and I always wanted to get my nose on it. I'm interested in trying it. I've never sat down and actually bought it. If it's really boozy, I probably like it, but I have a suspicion that's going to be too sweet for my taste. But I do need to give it a try, and I do need to give it a go. I think that they have one that's a little bit more based on vanilla. And didn't they come out with a newer fragrance about a year, maybe two ago? And I need to try that one. That's another niche brand that's not really talked about too much. And for the most part, I've heard pretty good things about them. Pretty good things. See here. Says Jin Music says, Ben, are there any frag reviewers you can't stand? I don't really want to be negative. I try to support everybody in the fragrance community. I try to watch everybody as much as possible. I'm still keeping up watching people fairly regularly. Unless a fragrance reviewer is asking questions or they say something really interesting, or maybe they do a review on a fragrance that I think is particularly interesting, or the review was outstanding. I usually don't comment anything, but I am supporting people. I am liking people's videos. For about 6 months or so, I was watching almost every video I can find and commenting on everything just to support other people, trying to be a big positive influence, but it was kind of unsustainable. I can't do that all the time. And I know that I shouldn't, shouldn't expect, things in return. Well, I was kind of wanting a little bit more love in return, and I didn't get that in the most part. But there are so many wonderful people. I don't want to speak negatively on to everybody. A lot of people talk about fragrance a little bit more casually. A lot of people have a little bit more fun. Wait a second. Sorry about that, guys. A lot of people take fragrance reviewing a lot more on the comedy route of things. They take things a little bit more, I don't know. They're a little bit more relaxed about it. And some people want to be that way. Some people, that's fun. That's genuine. I like learning. To me, I like learning about nature. I like learning about the notes. I like learning about the history. I do care about the perfumers, but it's not the biggest thing I care about. I care more about where the fragrance notes came from and how the composition works. Like, how did the perfumer do their magic? So to me, that's what really interests me in a fragrance review. And I try to have a good balance of being a tiny bit entertaining and giving information that I think will make sense and is actually useful instead of going completely on the deep end. I would like to be more informational, but then y'all might think y'all are watching a documentary or something and maybe bored out of your minds. So I don't want to beat up on people. I don't want to do anything like that. Y'all know that Jeremy Fragrance, he brings a lot of people into the fragrance game, but y'all know I think he focuses a little bit too much, on younger guys being attractive to ladies. I think that's a little bit too much of a focus. And I'm sure that we could all criticize each other a little bit, but I think that I think it would be a better thing if we all encouraged each other and pointed at the good things we're all doing, and maybe constructive criticism is good, but I don't know. There's very few fragrance reviewers who are really bothering me right now. One of them I've talked about them a little bit, and it's mostly because I think that they in particular are essentially a sponsored person for a brand, and they don't tell people that they get anything for free. And I think that they are getting these things, and I have suspicions that they're getting paid. And also this person, I almost don't think that their popularity is almost don't think their popularity is justified. They don't, this person has a pretty face. They don't do anything special in particular, and they mostly just do top fives or top tens or things like that of mostly a certain brand. And I've talked about this person kind of before, so. But who am I to know? I don't want to make assumptions. For all I know, they're paying for their fragrances, and I don't know. My suspicions could be false. So I don't know. I don't want to lambast anybody. So Cuban Barbie says, "Thank you, Ben. Working on it. Absolutely." Cuban Barbie definitely will be there, ready to support you 100%. She's an awesome lady, and thank you so much for your friendship. And I have conversations as much as I can, especially on Instagram if you want to chat with me regularly. Um, let's see. But yeah, absolutely, we'll be behind you, Cuban Barbie. It says, all that love here. Absolutely. I think we need to love each other. I don't think that we'll bring the best out of each other by criticism. Yes, constructive criticism sometimes is warranted, but I think that we're going to bring the best out of each other and build bonds of friendship with each other over, encouragement, actually supporting each other. And I always like to ask, what are people interested in? Like, what have they been testing? What are they curious about? Because to me, that's what that's what this is all about, being curious and smelling new, amazing, and beautiful things. So that's what I always try to do. So Cuban Barbie says, I don't follow that person no more. Agree 100%. Yeah. And I don't want to beat them up, and I try not to name them by person. But yeah, they're the only person that's ever bothered me. Particularly, there is another fragrance reviewer, and they did a top 10 list based on Dua fragrances, and they were honest enough to kind of tell us that they were getting all the Dua fragrances for free, but they essentially just did a top 10 Dua fragrance video, and I don't know if they were paid. I don't think that they were paid, but they didn't say. But we know that they got all those fragrances for free, and I thought that was a little bit funny, but I didn't hate them for it. But those, I don't know, those are kind of the things really only that bothered me. So anyways, is there any other topics that y'all want to talk about? Anything else on your mind? World's a curious place, my friends. Sorry, I'm kind of distracted over here. I need to charge this phone sooner. It's going to die. Hopefully, I can get it to work a little bit. Okay. So, any other thoughts, any more questions? I think the conversation's kind of died down a little bit. If so, we can wrap this up here. We've had a good conversation on here for about an hour and a half, but it's been a really good time. Let me know if y'all want me to, I like to introduce a fragrance discussion, a certain topic. Of course, I do try to be a little bit loose, or a little bit don't have to stick to that topic, but we really didn't talk about that topic too much today. Let me know if that's a good idea at all, or let me know if y'all want me to actually bring out fragrances and I don't know, share my sense of the week. I was actually doing sense of the month for a while, and then I kind of stopped it. I thought it was a little bit kitschy, a little bit cliche, but some people it was actually pretty well viewed on my channel. But maybe when I do these lives, maybe I'll start bringing out my sense of the week, and maybe that's a good idea. Y'all have to let me know if that's a good idea. I'll share my sense of the week, and of course we'll have our good conversations with fragrance news, fragrance ideas. And of course, in the future, I'll definitely be trying to share a little bit more of my own fragrance creations and my soaps. And who knows, maybe what else y'all will get to see. So, Ben, I just received the new Giorgio Armani's on the way. Oh, beautiful. Which one is that? Remind me. Well, I saw the Profundo recently, but I don't really remember any of the others. Is there a new? Is there one that's even newer than that? Sweet and fresh, I like it. Yeah, Giorgio Armani is doing the flanker game. They seem to be doing really, really well. They seem to be doing a great job over there at Giorgio Armani, and they seem to be dominating the flanker game. Yves Saint Laurent's doing a pretty good job, but they seem to be dominating things right now, and I find it quite interesting. I was kind of curious that after the Essenza, they didn't release anything for a long time after the Essenza, and then they came out with the Profumo. And I thought the Profumo was really good, but a lot of people. I thought it was really good myself, but some people thought it was more masculine. I think it was a little bit masculine as well, and I didn't know that it was such a big top seller. I did see hype from other fragrance reviewers, but I didn't know that it was actually, it was actually selling really, really well to people in malls and people who are really buying these fragrances. Even a lot of these people outside the fragrance community. Us as the fragrance community here on YouTube, we're a small part of even the people who buy fragrances. I don't know the percentages. I don't know my guess, but I'm guessing that we're, 20 or maybe even 30% at most of the actual people who are buying fragrances. And, of the people who are actually interested in niche and indie and people who are actually discussing fragrances outside of the big channels like Jeremy Fragrance, me and you are we're the elites. We're the Spartans. We're we're one out of a million. So I appreciate all of y'all. I appreciate y'all for that. It's called My Way. Well, you'll have to let me know all about it. And I haven't seen anybody do a review of it, so maybe that'll have to be your first review for us, Cuban Barbie. We'll have to see what you think of My Way, and you'll have your way with us. Anyways, I'll see y'all, everybody. I feel like I'm losing a few people, and it's kind of slowing down. But I want to thank y'all for having a great chat this evening. It was a lot of fun. It was a wonderful time, and y'all are awesome people. And I hope that I brought a little smile to y'all. Hopefully y'all learned a little bit of something. Hopefully you were able to have a little chat. You felt like you chatted with a fellow fragrance enthusiast, a fellow fragrance addict, a frag head. And that's what this is all about. Me being able to get it out of my system a little bit, and also try to talk to y'all and have that camaraderie and have that friendship. So I'll see y'all. Have a beautiful week. Enjoy life. Cook some wonderful food. Don't forget to spice it up a little bit. Smell those spices, and that's a part of where fragrance came from as well, with incense burning on the fire, and also spices with the aromas and the flavors of our food. Don't forget to use the beautiful spices, and enjoy life. Take it easy, and definitely take care of yourselves, my friend. These are stressful times, so definitely relax. Definitely relax and meditate, my friends. Cuban Barbie, okay, Ben, have a good night. You too, Cuban Barbie. You're awesome and you're gorgeous. So happy to see you. Thank you for stopping by, and certainly being a friend. So I'll see everybody. Have a good one. Have a beautiful week. I'll see you next time. Y'all know my motto: wear what you love, rock what you got. And I kind of want to add on to the end of that now. Find those fragrances that you actually love. Find what moves you. Find those fragrances that make you feel good. Anyways, I'll see everybody, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one, and until next week. And I am releasing just about 2 videos a day. So if you haven't watched my videos in a while, you got a lot of catching up to do. You got a lot of videos to watch. Maybe you'll want to watch some of them tomorrow. Wink, wink, hint, hint. I'll see you. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.